He was a single dad, late for work again. He stopped to help a pregnant woman, not knowing she was the CEO of his company. He lost his job that day, but what happened next changed everything. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more short, heart-touching stories. Ethan Cole had one rule in life: do the right thing, even when no one's watching. But that rule was getting harder to live by lately. As a single dad juggling 2 jobs and raising his 7-year-old daughter Lily, every minute mattered. That morning he was already cutting it close. His alarm hadn't gone off. Lily couldn't find her other shoe, and the school bus arrived 5 minutes early. By the time he dropped her off, his work shift at Brixton Tech was just 20 minutes away, and traffic looked like a parking lot. He drummed his fingers on the steering wheel, muttering, "Come on, not today." Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw her. A pregnant woman on the side of the road, one hand on her belly, the other waving frantically for help. Her car hood was up, steam curling into the morning air. Ethan sighed. Logic told him to keep driving. He was already one write-up away from being fired. But conscience, that old stubborn voice said she could be someone's mom, or about to be, so he pulled over. "Ma'am, you okay?" he asked. She nodded weakly, trying to smile. "I think it's just overheated, but I don't feel so good." He saw the way she was breathing, shallow, panicked. He didn't think twice. He helped her into his car and sped toward the nearest hospital. It took less than 30 minutes, but by the time he reached work, he was 2 hours late. His manager, Mr. Briggs, didn't want to hear excuses. "You've been late 3 times this month, Ethan. I can't keep covering for you. You're done here." Ethan stood there, speechless. He tried to explain, but Briggs waved a dismissive hand. "Save it. You should have thought about that before playing hero." He walked out with a cardboard box and his pride in shreds. That night, he sat at the kitchen table while Lily colored on the floor. "Daddy, why are you sad?" He smiled faintly. "Just had a rough day, Pumpkin." But I'd still help her again. 3 days later, his phone rang. "Mr. Ethan Cole?" a crisp voice said. "This is Brixton Tech headquarters. The CEO would like to meet with you immediately." His stomach dropped. "The CEO? Why?" When he arrived, the secretary led him to a corner office, massive windows, skyline view. And there she was, the same woman from the roadside. She smiled warmly, one hand resting on her stomach. "Mr. Cole, I believe we've met under more stressful circumstances." Ethan blinked. You're the CEO?" "Charlotte Hayes," she said. "And yes, I own the company that fired you." He opened his mouth to apologize, but she raised a hand. "No, don't. You did something most people wouldn't have. You stopped to help. You risked your job for a stranger. I owe you more than thanks. You got me to the hospital just in time. My blood pressure was dangerously high. The doctor said it could have gone very wrong." Ethan swallowed hard. "I'm just glad you're okay, ma'am." Charlotte smiled, eyes softening. "You were punished for being kind. That's not the kind of company I want to run." She reached into a folder and slid a paper across the desk. "Congratulations, Mr. Cole. You're rehired as head of community outreach. Full benefits, flexible schedule, and a raise." Ethan stared at the offer. "Ma'am, I don't know what to say." "Say you'll keep being the man who stops to help," she said. "The world needs more of that." That night, Ethan tucked Lily into bed, a smile playing on his face. "Daddy," she whispered sleepily, "did your boss forgive you?" He kissed her forehead. "Something like that, sweetheart. Turns out being late isn't always a bad thing." She grinned. "Told you doing good stuff always comes back to you." He laughed softly, lights dimming around them. "You're right, kiddo. It really does." Ethan's first day back at Brixton Tech felt surreal. The same security guard who'd once turned him away now greeted him with a salute. His old co-workers whispered, half in disbelief, half in awe. The guy who got fired was now walking into the executive floor. Charlotte Hayes, the CEO, had kept her word. His new role, head of community outreach, wasn't just a title. It was a purpose. His job? Build programs to help employees who were struggling. Single parents, caregivers, those barely holding it together like he once was. For the first time in years, Ethan didn't dread Mondays. One afternoon, a soft knock came at his office door. Charlotte stood there holding 2 cups of coffee. Mind if I join you? He smiled. Not at all. She sat down, watching him review files. You're really making a difference here. I read your proposal about childcare support for employees. Brilliant. He shrugged, embarrassed. Just trying to make sure no one else has to choose between helping someone and keeping their job. Her gaze softened. You know, when I first saw you that morning, I thought I was about to faint from stress. I didn't know it then, but I think fate wanted me to meet you. Ethan chuckled lightly. Fate's got a funny sense of timing. Charlotte smiled, sipping her coffee. Sometimes it takes getting lost or stranded on the side of the road to find what really matters. Weeks passed. Ethan's program started changing lives. The company that once ran on deadlines and pressure now buzzed with a new kind of energy. Empathy. He saw employees helping each other. Managers listening instead of judging. Small kindnesses blooming in hallways once filled with silence. And in the middle of it all, Ethan found something he hadn't felt in years. Peace. One crisp autumn morning, Charlotte called him into her office again. She was holding a small blue blanket in her hands. Ethan, she said softly, eyes glistening, I had the baby. His face lit up. That's incredible. Congratulations. She smiled. Her name's Hope. He smiled at that. That's perfect. Charlotte hesitated, then continued. You know, I thought I was running a company. But you reminded me what leadership really means. You didn't just save my life, Ethan. You changed my perspective on how people should treat each other. He looked down, humbled. I didn't do much. Yes, you did, she said. You showed humanity when it counted. That's rare, and it's powerful. Months turned into a year. Ethan's daughter Lily loved visiting the office, especially when baby Hope was there. The two became inseparable, tiny giggles echoing through boardrooms and break rooms alike. One day, during the company's annual awards night, Charlotte took the stage. She scanned the crowd and said, There's one story that defines what Brixton Tech has become. Her eyes found Ethan's. Last year, a man stopped to help a stranger, risking everything to do the right thing. That act of compassion became the reason we're standing here today, prouder and more united than ever. The crowd rose in applause. Charlotte smiled. Ethan Cole reminded me that kindness is not a weakness. It's our greatest strength. Ethan stood, humbled, holding back tears as Lily clapped beside him, beaming with pride. Later that night, as they walked out under the city lights, Lily looked up and said, Daddy, are you famous now? He laughed softly. No, sweetheart. Just lucky. Lucky for what? She asked. He smiled, glancing at the stars. For being in the right place, at the right time.